Welcome, everybody. My name is John Niski. I'm the Associate Director for CAC Unified Sports. Welcome to our Winter Coaches Training Session. Thank you so much for signing on today. This program is being recorded, and it'll probably be transcribed by some AI computer somewhere, but it's definitely being recorded. And if there are folks that weren't able to make it today, if they contact our office through Carol Brzezowski, we'll get a copy of the presentation to people who couldn't make it. So not only thank you for being here today, thank you for the commitment that you are making to Unified Sports. And really, it is a labor of love, and we are grateful for everything that you are doing. Bob Hale, who is our director, who would normally be running this training session, is recovering from some hip surgery. So we're giving him the time off and letting him relax, and we're taking the reins. So if you have questions or problems, that's just too bad. No, we'll do the best to see what we can do to address those questions and or problems. Throughout the presentation, your microphones are muted, but you have the power to unmute them and cut me off if you want to. Or if you have questions, just feel free to jump in and ask them. You can also ask them in the chat. We'll try to keep an eye on that as we go through. Okay, so let's get right to the presentation. We have a presentation that is all prepared, and I practiced sharing it earlier. So let's see if I am able to make that happen again. Okay. I am sharing the screen.
It's there, John.
There we go. Is that working? Can everybody see that? Nod your heads or say yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so our program, our Unified Sports program, is sponsored, and it is a Special Olympics Connecticut school-based Unified Sports program, and it is administered by the CIAC, and the folks in our office do an unbelievable job of taking care of all of that business. So we are grateful to Special Olympics Connecticut and to the CIAC for everything that they do to make our school-based Unified Sports programs successful. We had a great fall, and those of you that participated in any of our events this past fall, hopefully you feel the same way. Just some of the highlights from our fall events. We had soccer games and flag football games and cornhole tournaments and bowling tournaments. We had a great, we went to a great transition soccer tournament that was held at Albertus Magnus University with a bunch of great schools down in that area. We held regional mini summits that were trying to meet the needs of our folks down county, down Fairfield County way. We held one at Staples High School, and we held another mini summit at Norwich Free Academy for folks way out in Eastern Connecticut. And both of those summits were very well attended, and the feedback that we got from those summits was really, really good. We also had our big Youth Leadership Statewide Summit at Rocky Hill, and we're grateful to everyone at Rocky Hill High School for helping us put that on and everything that they did for us to make that successful. And we had Youth Activation Council meeting, and we had those kids involved at the summit and helping us out with different activities. They're working on some assignments to do some public service announcements, videos about Unified Sports, and they are working on those. Those are due February 1st. If you do not have students who are involved in our Youth Activation Council, and would like to be, have students that would like to be, please reach out to Kathy Davy or Carol Brzezowski at our office, and we will see if we can't get them involved in what we have going on. It's a great opportunity for student leadership.
Hey, John, I'm going to interrupt for just a second. Our next Youth Activation Council meeting is on February 1st.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay,
Thank you.
so-
Thank you. So the next meeting is February 1st. When are the videos due?
They were due at the summit. We showed a bunch of them at the summit.
Oh, great. All right. So they were done with the videos. They did a nice job with the videos that we got. They were great. They were great. So next meeting is February 1st. Everyone on this call should have, or if you participated in a fall sport, your coach should have received a survey sent out by Bob Hale.
That was sent out by me on behalf of Bob Hale. So they're looking
Okay.
at emails.
So if you have not yet completed that survey, please complete that survey. And send that back so that we have good information. We have so far about 70% of the respondents have completed that. So the sports that we offer in a general coaching, if this is your first time being involved in Unified Sports, the sports that we sponsor through the CIAC are Unified Soccer, basketball, bowling tournaments, cornhole tournaments, track and field. We also have elementary skill days and young athletes programs, which are preschool programs. So hopefully you're involved in some of those things. There are other sports and activities that take place throughout the state and throughout the country that other schools participate in that are not necessarily organized and run by our office, but are done on a local level. Bocce, kickball, volleyball, flag football is one that we are starting to get a little bit more involved in. And if you are interested in flag football, please reach out to Steve Trefone from our office. He'll get you information about that. Unified fishing for those people that really know what's important in life. Unified cheer and tennis. If you have other things that you're doing in your programs that you want to share with us, we would love to hear about those. On the call or on the training session today are all of the folks in our office, Steve Trefone, Kathy Davy, Carol Brzezowski, and Barbara Horn are on the meeting today. And we're grateful for everything that they do. The opportunities for Unified Sports, scrimmages that you can host, halftime games, interscholastic games between your school and another school, conference tournaments, league tournaments, school-sponsored tournaments, if your school sponsors its own little local tournament. And then there are CIAC-sponsored tournaments. Those are the ones that we organize and put on. We also have the opportunity for halftime games at the Mohegan Sun during the CIAC state basketball, boys and girls basketball championships. And then there's also opportunity for some schools to participate in Special Olympics USA games. The next USA games are going to be held next summer, I believe, out in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So if you're interested in any of those things, let us know. So our Unified Sports events that we host the tournaments, and as an individual team, you are allowed to participate in up to 2 CIAC-sponsored basketball tournaments. But if your school has an interscholastic tournament, that's in addition to the 2. That doesn't preclude you from doing league tournaments. Don't count towards those 2 entries. It's really just the 2 CIAC-sponsored tournaments because we want to make sure that we have room for everybody to participate in a statewide tournament that wants to do that. Every team should schedule or host a scrimmage before participating in any league or CIAC tournament so that you have a chance to work through all the stuff. The Unified Sports Banquet is coming up on April 28th. Carol, do you have anything that you want to say about that?
Yeah, it's coming up on April 28th. It's a Monday evening. More information will be sent out at the beginning of January for the essay portion of it. There's two parts to the essay. There's a partner essay, and then there's an athlete essay. And so both if your partners and athletes can submit, there's no limit to how many per school. And the one athlete, one partner award is selected by you. You need to choose one athlete and one partner to receive the award at the banquet. They'll be called up onto stage. It's really nice. They get a plaque, something they've never done before. So it's just great and really sweet. So hopefully you can all participate in that. You get a table of 10 at the banquet. And there's overall school awards. So if you have a strong candidate that you would like to nominate for athletic director, for a coach, please feel free to send that over to us as well, and we'll take a look at all the entries. On top of that, there's also a resume requested by the schools, and we look at those resumes as to what you've done in the past year. That is the prior year's information.
Carol, what does it typically cost to go to the banquet? And does everybody have to pay, or does anybody get to go for free?
Yeah, the athlete and the partner go free. The two awardees, the one athlete and the one partner, and otherwise, I think the amount last year was $45. I'm not sure if it's staying that or going up.
And the
Have it there.
parents and siblings and principals
Yep,
and
anybody you want to attend can go. Yep. Like I said, it's a table of 10. If you really need that second table, we can try to work on that. But it's a big banquet and there's over 1,000 people there, so it's limited.
it's a very exciting time. If you have not gone in the past, you're the only one that hasn't gone, because everybody goes to that banquet. It's a great time for students to be recognized. Thanks, Carol.
Mhm.
So the Unified Champion Schools program, Barb, do you want to talk a little bit about the Unified Champion Schools program?
Sure. Thanks, John. Well, I think most of you are aware that we have been part of a national mission, a national program called Unified Champion Schools, funded through Special Olympics North America and the Federal Department of Education. And it's a three-pronged philosophy of whole school engagement, inclusive sports, and inclusive youth leadership. John's already described all the different kinds of sports opportunities that we offer. And then the other two components are the whole school engagement and the inclusive youth leadership. Whole school engagement and inclusive youth leadership kind of overlap, as you can see in this Venn diagram. And inclusive youth leadership, I just want to emphasize that for a moment. That is based on the belief that students of all ability levels can be leaders. So just because you have an athlete and a partner in the same room, it does not mean you have inclusive youth leadership. It's really giving students of all ability levels the ability to plan, to advocate for a more inclusive environment in their school. Some examples of inclusive youth leadership are morning announcements, where an athlete and a partner might get on and talk about what their unified sports program is doing, an upcoming competition. Schools create inclusive or inclusion videos, spreading the word of inclusion. Many schools have what we call inclusion campaigns. We've been providing our newest bands. They're called Inclusion Lives Here bands, and also pledge sheets, which we can offer to your students to run a campaign in their school. And that's a really easy way to incorporate both inclusive youth leadership and whole school engagement. The next slide, again, whole school engagement, fans in the stands, morning announcements, etc. I recently attended an assembly at an elementary school in East Hampton, where it was an assembly on empathy, and all the students were given a prompt to talk about how they see empathy as part of unified sports. And every single one of the team members got in front of a whole school assembly and talked about unified sports and empathy, which was just a great example of inclusive youth leadership. So this, I just want to mention, we're going into our 18th year of being a part of Unified Champion Schools. And one other thing about Unified Champion Schools is there's a subcategory. We consider all of you who are sitting here and listening today and that are committed to, as John said, unified sports and creating more inclusive environments in your schools, a Unified Champion School. There's a subcategory of nationally recognized banner Unified Champion Schools. Those schools are involved in those three components, but also have to satisfy additional standards and criteria and have to apply for that recognition. So I just want to mention, if you are not familiar with the banner recognition program and you want more information, the applications are submitted in the spring. But if you want more information about what the criteria looks like, please drop me a line and I'd be happy to maybe give you something that can set some goals for your students. And lastly, if I had a unified Christmas wish, it would be that every student in every school district in Connecticut had the opportunity to be involved in Unified from pre-K to grade 12. I know most of you are involved in high school and middle school with high school and middle school students, but we do have programs down to the youngest students. Because we've been involved in unified sports now in Connecticut for over 30 years, we've had the opportunity to see some of these students that started in Young Athletes in elementary, some of those friendships that started in those grades continue on through middle school and high school. So Young Athletes in elementary can also provide leadership opportunities for your middle school programs and high school programs. Those students can come and work with the elementary and young athlete students either in practices or at a culminating event. Or if a high school student's looking for a capstone project and wants to start an elementary program in their district, we'd be really happy to support them in that way as well. So, as I said, pathway, young athletes, elementary, middle school, high school, and beyond would be our goal for all students.
Thanks, Barb. We have our challenges that are coming up that we've done throughout the year that I believe started during the COVID thing, and we've continued them on. Carol, do you want to talk about the upcoming challenges?
I think Kathy was going to talk about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
even better.
Okay, so we've already started, have sent out the information. Carol has sent out the information for the Jingle Jive and the mountain climbing challenge. And for the Jingle Jive, you send the video in. You try to get it's a great way to get the whole school involved to a Christmas themed song, if you'd like. And you send that in and then we post that. For the mountain climbing challenge, that is more of a physical challenge and everybody can do it. And you're attempting to climb one of the mountains that we've posted or given you. If you have another mountain that you want to try to climb, go for it. At the end of that mountain climbing challenge, you let us know. Carol will send out a reminder and you let us know what you've climbed. And we then will turn around and send you a little something. In March is this trick shot challenge. You can see that there's two videos of the trick shot challenge, or I'm sorry, one video of the trick shot challenge. Again, we'll post that. And then there's the marathon challenge that will happen in the spring. And you're trying with your team for each person to walk 26.2 miles over a period of time, not in one day or one sitting or one time on the track. And if the students are able to complete that challenge, we'll send them a magnet that says 26.2 that they completed the challenge. So, and like I said, so the marathon challenge will happen in the spring. Trick shot challenge will be February, March, and Jingle Jive and Mountain Climber are going on right now. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out
Thanks,
to me
Kathy.
or anybody on the team.
Thanks, Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
This is me too. Woo-hoo. All right, so social media. So we post on Facebook, on Instagram and on X. And if you're going to, when you post, if you can post the social media tags, hashtag Play Unified CT at CIAC Sports and at Special Olympics CT, that would be awesome. We just want to get the information out to everybody and let everybody know the great things that are happening in the state. So, friend us, and we'll be on the flip side, seeing you.
Awesome. If
Okay.
you are posting things on social media, if you would tag us with the hashtag Play Unified CT hashtag, that will pick up people that follow our stuff, and we'll get to see your stuff as well. When this presentation was made, our Instagram followers, we had 3 Instagram followers and 1 post. We now have 578 Instagram followers and over 250 posts. So we're getting there, and a lot of our stuff that we post on Instagram is connected to the CIAC, and they repost stuff, and they have thousands and thousands of followers. So there we go. All right, certification, coaching certification. Is this Steve Trafone?
It is, John. Thanks. Coaches, as we have many veteran coaches here, but we also have some new coaches joining us. So our program is part of the CIAC, and all of our coaches in our schools are certified, and we require that our unified coaches are also certified coaches. So there's a couple of things that you will need. One, first of all, you can go into Unified Sports Training and get a season-specific training. So if you just want to concentrate on learning a little bit more about, let's say, soccer, you can surely do that under the Special Olympics website, Unified Sports Training. So that can be done. But you are required to be a state of Connecticut certified coach. And if you are a teacher, then you need to take the first aid, the CPR, the AED class. Usually your athletic director will teach that, or your athletic trainer. And then you also need the concussion class, which is on the CIAC website. It's about an hour-long class. Once you have those courses done, you turn everything into the state of Connecticut, just like you would with your teaching certification for those of you who are teachers. And then you get your certificate that you are a certified teacher. So if you're coaching unified kids, you need to be certified. If you're not a teacher, there is a class that you will need to take at the CIAC office. It's all online. And that class will take place of you not being a certified teacher, with also the first aid, CPR, AED, concussion. A reminder that you need to renew your certification every 5 years. And in order to do that, you have to take certain classes. We do them once a year. Your athletic director probably teaches them. They're usually free of charge. Once you do that, after 5 years, you just turn it back in. Down below, you can see that's the login to get into the certification site for you to get your certification completed. But that's a must. Any questions that you have with certification? I know sometimes it's a little confusing. You can call our office. John or I or anyone else at the office can help you through that. You can also get a free pullover like John Niski and I are wearing. You can get the exact same one. All right. There's a unified coaches training class through the National Federation of High School. It's free. It's 1 hour. Their link is right here. So if you're going to get this recording, you click on that link, it'll take you right there. Once you complete that course, that you can print out a certification. And once the certification is printed out, you can send it to Carol Brzezowski at the office, and you will get an official unified quarter zip pullover. So it's great to have, and it's also a great class. It teaches you a lot about how to work with unified kids. So But by all means, we highly recommend you do that. Good, John.
Thanks, Steve. Oh,
This is the CIAC coaching education site. All of our varsity, sub-varsity, freshman coaches at your schools, this is where they go to get their certification completed and or updated. You can do the same. So you can just Google Connecticut Coaching Education Program. That link will take you right to here. It gives you all the information that you need to either apply for it or to renew it. It's also the concussion education classes on this site. If you look to the right of here where it says coaching permit applications, there's your forms that you can use. You can also get your certificates of the classes that your athletic directors are probably teaching, etc. So this is a great website that is run by the Connecticut Association of Athletic Directors, just to make sure that you're up to date on your certification and or applying. Again, just getting back to you, any questions on certification, give us a call or your athletic director can help you. Good.
uh-oh. Hang on a second, kids. All right. Am I back to this sharing? Am I still sharing?
Yep, you're sharing.
All right. Here we go. Permission forms, is that what's up on the screen?
Yep, that's what's up.
Okay, great. So permission forms are needed for all participants. If you have students with Down syndrome, check with your school nurse. There's that specific form that you should have. Whatever your school requires for athletic permission forms, whether it's through Family ID or any of the other programs, check with your athletic director or school principal to see if what you need for permission forms. If you have emergency information that you bring with you to one of our events, make sure that you have forms for everyone, including yourself and any aides or paraprofessionals that might be with you on the bus, so that if something happens to you, we know who to contact and how to take care of that information. The master team roster. On our registration page, there's an opportunity for you to fill out what's called a master team roster. It allows you to put in all of your athletes and all of your partners one time, and then you can copy from that master roster when you are registering for other events. So it's highly recommended that you fill out the master team roster. It's really good for us. You can always add to that, but don't ever delete students off of that master roster. You can, when you go to put teams into it, let's say you have 20 students on your master roster and only 10 of them are going to a basketball event, you can import all 20 from the master roster and then delete 10 off of that, only the 10 that are going for that specific event. Makes it a lot easier. You don't have to type in all of your students each time you register for an event. Athletes and partners, it's a unified process. Everything that we do is a unified process. They are teammates throughout the whole thing. And we use these terms, athletes and partners, to differentiate when we are having discussions. But it's important that everyone understands that they are teammates, that they are equals on the same team. It is truly a unified program. You don't have mentors or peers. There are a lot of different terms, assistants. You really want to make certain that everybody feels that they are included and that they are all included equally throughout the thing. And one of the best ways to do that is through the use of the proper terms. So the different levels for our sports, basketball specifically, is the most competitive level is level 1 and level 2. And if you go on to register for an event and you go to click level 1 or level 2, it's going to say competitive right next to the registration link. These are the things: basic understanding of the rules of the game, ability to dribble. Both athletes and partners can score in a competitive level game, but we really want it to be about 50-50 through the game, and generally can play by high school rules. Most of our teams and most of our events have division recreational level 3 teams, where most of the players, athletes, and or partners have a limited ability to dribble, understand basic concepts of the rules. They usually pass just to kind of get rid of the ball. There's 1 or 2 main players that do a lot of the scoring. And most of the teams that participate in our tournaments are at this level. Only athletes are allowed to score if you are a level 3 team. Level 4 and level 5 teams are considered recreational. They don't really understand the whole concept of the team, of what's team play and what's going on with that. There's a low general understanding of the game, but wheelchairs are allowed. If you have an athlete that needs an aid to push the wheelchair around, that counts as one person, as one player on the court. It is important when we're doing the basketball games that there are only 5 players on the court for your team at any given time. We have free substitution for basketball. You can put players in and out off the bench as many times as you want during the game, but you need to keep 5 players on the court at one time. If you start putting 7, 6, 7, 8, 10 players on the court, and it becomes more of just a recreational shoot around than a state tournament basketball game. Those are the levels. If you have questions about the level of what level your team is at, go back and read through these criteria. Give us a call. We can talk it out. We can talk it through. But when registering for an event, it's critical that you pick the level, because we're going to pair you up as best we can with other teams that are at the same or similar levels. We try not to schedule games where anybody's playing someone 2 levels higher or 2 levels lower than their own level. All right, and there's basketball. And so here we go. Here's a great screenshot of some of the stuff that I just talked about with the different levels: the competitive level, the recreational level, and the developmental level. Typical roster, 12 players per team. That way, everybody gets to participate. Everything's co-ed. If you have more than 12 players, say you have 25, 30 students that are in your program on your master roster, and you're going to go to a tournament, it's in your best interest to register for 2 teams. So if you are Newtown, for example, you can register a Newtown Blue team and also a Newtown Gold team, and you put 10 or 12 players on each roster. If you need to switch players from one roster to the other during the day, that event, somebody doesn't show up or you're not sure who's showing up, you can do that. It's better to do that and move players around than it is to have 25 players all on one bench and then trying to get people to participate. It's not a good experience for your athletes and partners, and it's not a good experience for you as a coach. It's kind of frustrating. So some of the bigger programs, however, we don't need to have, Newtown Blue, Newtown Gold, Newtown White, Newtown Yellow, Newtown Green, but no more than 4 separate squads. But each team, each squad that you have has to have an adult that can supervise that event while they're playing, because it's very likely that multiple squads will be playing at the same time. So if you're the only coach, you can't be watching what's going on another court, either in the other gym or on the other side of the gym that you're at. Okay. Again, 2 partners, 3 athletes on the court at all times. One-on-one aids do not count. Modified basket, there's a picture of the modified basket with the hula hoops that we use to shoot, each one of those hula hoops counts the same as getting it in the basket. If you have some other way that you modify for your players at your practices, whatever works for you, this is what works for us. This is what you'll see at our state tournaments, but you can modify any way you like, whatever works for you. Uniforms are critical to the process. Everything that we're doing is to try to make our programs, your student athletes and partners feel as if they're on a real team in a real program doing real stuff, because they are. And if their partners or their classmates that are on the wrestling team or the swim team or the school basketball team are wearing uniforms, your students should be wearing uniforms as well. And they're called uniforms for a reason. They're uniform. They're the same. They're all the same. Every kid should have the same uniform. Most schools have been given some kind of grant money at some point or support from their athletic department to make sure that they have uniforms. If you're purchasing new uniforms, highly recommended that you get uniforms that are reversible, dark on one side, light on the other, so that you can, if you're playing against a team that has the same color, typically blue, you can easily make that swap without having to put pennies over the top.
And John, I can also get them the logos if they are purchasing new uniforms. Just shoot me an email if you need the logos.
So in addition to the uniforms, sneakers, no jeans, no work boots, no jewelry. This is an athletic event that is being sponsored by the State Athletic Association. This is a legitimate thing that's happening. So you need to treat it the same way. And as coach, it's your responsibility to make sure that your athletes are prepared, your partners, that everybody's prepared to show up and treat this with the respect that it deserves. You can't have sponsor names on the uniform. If you have fundraising t-shirts that you use for practice or for your other events, those are great for practice and other events, but they can't be used during a tournament thing. Shirts must be numbered, and they don't have to say basketball on them for basketball season. You can use the same jerseys for soccer or cornhole or track and field, but they should be numbered. And the numbers, athletes are wearing even numbers and partners wear odd numbers. We don't ever want to refer to our athletes as being odd, so we give them even numbers. It's just another way to keep that right. And you would be shocked at how difficult it is for people to remember this concept. Hopefully, this training will help all of you remember that. The equipment that you need for basketball specifically, you use the women's size 28.5-inch basketball, and that's what we use for equipment. That's what you need for equipment. The hula hoops or any adjustment that you make for adapting the basket, whatever works for you. You should have a medical kit. Students should bring their own water bottles. The days of drinking out of the Gatorade jug, those days are over. And everybody should have their own water and their own water bottle at the event. If you have a school banner that says your school name and Unified Sports on it, that's fantastic. We'll use that for our opening ceremonies, and it's great for the kids to be recognized as to who they are and who they're with during their events. We have a banner grant program. If you need to purchase a banner for some reason or other, you don't have a school banner, send me an email and I'll send you the specifications. We can help pay for a portion of your school banner. Basketball game times are approximately 16 minutes long. Running time, free substitution, and then things may change as the day goes on. If we have 5 or 6 rounds of basketball, those 16-minute rounds turn into 12-minute rounds by the time we get to round 4 and 5, because Mrs. Brzezowski loves the 12-minute rounds. Basketball specific rules, especially at the level 3, 4, and 5 specifically, there's no pressing. There's no pressure. This is recreational and developmental basketball at levels 3, 4, and 5. There's no backcourt pressure, no full court pressure. no pressing. Levels 1 and 2, if you're playing a level 1 and 2 game, then backcourt pressure is allowed according to typical high school basketball rules. Only for levels 1 and 2. If you are playing a team that is a lower level than yours, then you're going to play at the lower level. We play down to the lower level to make sure that everything is somewhat equal. And coaches have been remarkable. I talk to people all the time about this job, and I can't tell you how great the coaches are in everything that you do. And this is just one tiny example of what you do to play down to the level of your opponent. And coaches are so accommodating and so inclusive. It's just a great group of people to work with. When you're shooting, if you miss a shot, it's so nice. Our kids are so wonderful. They want to turn around. They hand the ball back to the person who shot. Let them shoot again. Let them shoot again. That's great. And we don't have a problem with that. It becomes a problem when there's more than 3 attempts at shooting the basket. And then it becomes everybody standing around for 15 minutes watching one person try to get a shot off in the basket. So we talk to the referees, the officials before the game, and we tell them, and we ask you as coaches to tell your players no more than 3 attempts. After the 3rd attempt, we hand it off to the other team, send it down the other way. We keep the game moving. It's an activity. We want to keep everybody active. Games are scheduled according to the competitive level. If there's an issue, then you need to talk. And it's listed on your schedule when you show up at one of our tournaments. If you're a level 3 playing a level 4, you should have a conversation with the coach of the other team beforehand. Basic rules, blah, 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 blah. Consistency in practice. Practice is huge. You cannot show up. You wouldn't expect your high school basketball team, JV, varsity, freshman level basketball team to show up to a tournament having never practiced basketball before. You need to have practices ahead of time, and you should practice in game-like situations. Drills are important, skill development is important, but game-like situations are also important for you to really prepare your team to come to participate in a tournament. Interscholastic games are the best. You should talk to your neighboring towns and schedule games. It's easy to get contact information for coaches from neighboring towns. We have all of that information on our website. It's easy for you to access, and we'd love to hear and see on social media about any interscholastic games that you may have. You can get your varsity basketball players to come and be referees. There's just a million great things that happen. Wheelchair athletes compete on level 4 or level 5 teams. If there's I said earlier, they count as one person. If there's somebody pushing, you can modify the chair so that a basketball doesn't get caught underneath it. It's more of an issue in soccer than it is in basketball, but you can feel free to modify the chair. So registration on the CIAC website. If you're going to register for a tournament, Steve, do you want to talk about this?
Sure, John. So to veteran coaches, you may have been on the new website. For new coaches, we're going to kind of walk you through this. So this is what there are 2, when you open up the castciac.org website, there are 2 links. One is for Connecticut Association of Schools. You want the CIAC link, which the yellow arrow is pointing to. So on the next slide, what we did is we're going to bring you to the actual link. So John will click on the CIAC website, which you would do.
Excuse me, Steve. Can
Yep.
you see the little finger I have moving around on my screen?
Yep.
You can. Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yep, you're in the right spot there. He clicks on that, and up comes the website. This may look new to some people. The website is really kind of fluid. It's still under change, but if you know where everything is, it's really going to help you. If you go to the left over there where John has the little finger there, the 4th info down is Unified Sports. If you click on that, that brings you right to all the information that you need for Unified Sports. How, some general info, what kids are eligible, some videos we have in there, information about Barbara Horn's Young Athlete Program, but probably more important for everybody here are the downloads and entries. This is what you click to go to schedule an event that you want to be on. So John will click on that, and then you get more information. So a bunch of, you got a calendar information there, anything that you really need to know about Unified Sports. You want to go down to below where it says submit entries. So let's say you're a high school, middle school team. You go to intent to enter high school, middle school. You click on that link. So when John clicks on that, you'll see what it does. It brings you to all of the contests that we are offering during that season. You just have to fill out the top portion of the info, select the contest that you want to be in. Remember, John mentioned you can only select 2 CIAC similar events, so 2 CIAC basketball events. So you would fill out all this information on the top, select your events, and you have to scroll down to the bottom of it. And again, this is an active website that John is on. This is actually what you would see. There are all of our events that we offer right now, or that are being offered. So he selected SWC at Bunnell on Thursday, March 6th. Then he also selected FCAC on March 10th. So now you want to be involved in those 2 events. So if you continue scrolling down, there's cornhole. It's broken down by sports, by the way, folks. There's middle school. We have some bowling this winter. That's all a separate thing as well. So you would decide what you want to play in. The other thing I want to remind you is that make sure you click Master Team Roster. John explained earlier what that's all about, and that's really important that we have your master team roster. It will really help us with a lot of information. Before you go any further, what level are you playing at? Is your team a level 1 team? Is your team a level 5? Whatever it is, that's where you're going to select the roster. Select the level. Then, as John's doing, you just go ahead and enter your team. Make sure you put in your gender. Let us know if they're an athlete or a partner. That's important as well. Check for spelling. You don't need, years ago, we used to have to put birth dates in. We don't need that anymore. And just fill that roster up. When you get to the bottom, fill out the rest of the info, your principal, your name, how we contact you, and how we get your email. That's important. List your practice schedule too, so we know that you're practicing. And then, probably most important, check that certification that everything that you had listed is valid, and then you click here to submit that form. That generates your school to sign up for those sports that you played with your current roster. And it's that simple. So you can go in once, you can collect all the sports that you want, that you're going to play. Make sure you hit submit, and you're good to go. And then you should get an email that tells you that Newtown Nighthawks Gold has selected the following sports. If you get that email, you're good to go. If you don't get an email, you did something wrong. Call our office. Let us know that you tried to enter something, it didn't work. We'll walk you through it again. So,
A couple things, Steve. You only need to fill out the click master roster one time. And anytime you go in and click on an event and register for an event, if you go back into that registration page, if I go back in as Newtown Gold, that event won't be there. But if I change the name to Newtown Blue and I look, it'll bring up, I'll be able to register for the same event. If I have a different team name, I can register for different events. So couple of little nuances. If you have difficulty or problems with it, make sure you call us But the biggest problem that we have is this big red button at the bottom. People forget to click that button. They do all that work and they forget to click the button. But, all right, let's go back to this. Yeah. All right, so the CIAC Championships at Mohegan Sun, they are listed as an event on the previous site that we were just on, which allows you to go in and sign up because you are interested in participating during that weekend in one of the halftime games at the Mohegan Sun. By you registering for this event does not guarantee that you're going to be selected to participate in one of those events, but it lets us know that you're interested. We will also be sending out a survey sometime in January asking people if you're interested in participating. The way that we figure out who is going to be playing at the championship games is really based on which schools' regular basketball, boys or girls basketball teams make the championship event. So if Newtown High School, I keep saying Newtown, but if Newtown High School girls basketball makes the finals of the girls basketball state tournament, we're going to check and see if Newtown Unified wants to play at halftime during their Newtown girls basketball championship event. So we'll look to our list of people and we'll contact, and it's a regular scramble the week before the tournament because we don't know who's going to make the finals until a couple of days before the tournament. And we really want to make sure that people that wish to participate are able to participate. But we also want to make sure that if a team is in there and they have a unified team, that they're able to play at the same time. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It certainly makes sense to us. These are our sponsors. We could not do anything that we do without our sponsors. And we try to recognize our sponsors at each of our events. And they, along with Special Olympics Connecticut and Special Olympics North America, get us all of the funding to do all the things that we want to do. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing the program and see if I'm going to check through the 30 new messages in the chat to see if there are any questions in there that.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
Steve and I have been trying to answer the messages as they've come up. There is one message that a coach asked. She has one player who is a level 3, a real good shooter, but the rest of her team is a level 4. She's wondering, should she level up or level down?
I would level up. Level up, see how it goes, and if we need to level down, we'll level down for the next one. Anybody else have any questions? You all have been so patient, and I hope paying some kind of attention, but if you have questions, please, now's the time to ask.